Me, your border man, injured to the city with a number 2 and CO. Let's go. So, yeah. To get back into it once again, ladies and gentlemen, if I can think about where I should start off. Oh yeah, I guess to go back into the county that I came from with this whole thing, Duval County Public Schools. God bless Duval County Public Schools, because I really don't understand why they have their school choice thing expo going on, but kind of understand why, because sometimes the school you're zoned for is crap and you would rather go to the school that's probably 15 or 30 minutes further. They give you a better opportunity at certain things and whatever else the case might be, so that kind of makes some sense there. So while they're trying to eliminate the zoning, or trying to be able to go wherever they want to, even with the zoning um, existing. Here's the thing with that, or at least the way I interpreted it. Yeah, God bless all you kids. Like I said, I definitely can say I came from Duval County. The last school that I went to was Kearney Middle School in Duval County, and I really want everybody to understand there, whoever watches these types of videos, these type of vlogs, that it's not to say I grew up in all the same communities as you all, because I didn't. I grew up in a middle class community, sure enough, but I did not grow up in all of the same, middle class communities that you all grew up in, or even the low income. I did not grow up in all that. So I did not grow up in North Jacks. I did not grow up in West Side. I did not grow up over by did I say over there by tenth. I kind of did grow up over there by, like, where I grew up more particularly is I did go, since I went to Kearney Middle School. I grew up right down the street from Kearney Middle School in Kensington. Sorry, in Kensington. That's where I grew up. I didn't grow up on the direct south side of where Tinseltown movie theater is. I didn't grow up over there. But I definitely have went over there several times over the years, over probably 20 for the movies and other reasons. I definitely want to be God first, as honest and as real with my come up as God first possible within whatever variety that it is, to let people know that I didn't fully come from all the same places you came from, but I still may have visited there, drove through it, whatever. And or I may still be able to relate to some of your struggles, maybe a tad bit. I don't know. And yeah, like I said, hopefully whenever I get interviewed more in a how do I put this, in a more professional setting. Hopefully when I get interviewed in there, I'll still have things to say about my upbringing, because I definitely say a majority of everything right here on my YouTube channel. So it's like, what's new. But God first, to whomever, wherever, I am always open to giving you new information and or the same old information, just trying to reword it differently or say it with different energy so you get it better, understand it more fluently and clearly. But I want everybody to understand, God bless Duval, one of the top places that I'm definitely going to assure you I'm never forgetting where I came from. Just because I live out in St. Johns County predominantly now does not mean that I have forgotten where I came from with my hometown roots. Never, ever, ever believe that I gave up. I never, or not gave up, have forsaken my hometown roots. I know where I grew up. I know the city that I'm from. I know not everything, but I know what I know. And I can assure you, God is good, and I just want to continue to keep giving back to all areas of not just Jacksonville, but all areas of several communities around my whole state of Florida. I got love for the entire state, and so on. As I have grown up and visited certain places, or grown up and talked to certain people, there's a lot of beauty within our entire state as a whole, if you were to ask me. A lot of horror and a lot of garbage, but a lot of beauty and wisdom and peace and encouragement. Just depends on where you live, who you're surrounded by, and what you choose to do with your opportunities, and so on. But with that also being said, I want everybody to definitely understand that Duval is definitely something where, like I said, I definitely, as a rapper, as a songwriter, as a singer, I can assure you I'm still gonna, do what I can to, spread my music out where I, got this whole thing started, through my come up, and we're gonna see exactly how far, and how wide we reach with things, because I do want people to understand I love you, I care about you, I believe in you, and we're all in this thing together for a Jesus Christ salvation, better tomorrow, for the further advance of all people, and so on and so on. And yeah, if I could think about something else. Yeah, Wolfson and Sandalwood. I mean, trust me, it was, and I can actually probably still find the school review. Um, Wolfson and Sandalwood were the number one and number two. Wolfson was one, Sandalwood was number two for the most fights in Duval County public schools within the last couple years. Uh, Definitely before Wolfson became a magnet, and obviously that makes sense why they can become a magnet, so they can get rid of all that. But at the same time, I want people to understand the review that I read was disturbing on how the new principal's trying to get rid of that. He's trying to get rid of it by, how do I put this? By similarly doing what I've heard a lot of principals in St. John's do, and so on and so on. Which means these people are crooks. These people are corrupt. And what that means is they don't care about the morals that I care about when it comes to blanketing the entire school in love and kindness and character. That doesn't mean everybody, and even if you try, that doesn't mean everybody's going to fall in line with it. But that means at least the majority, at least it's definitely easier to weed out the fakes and the frauds. It's easier to weed out the kids that just don't want to change, and you punish them instead of punishing the whole school. At least it's easier to get to the bottom line of who truly needs to be punished versus who doesn't. When you blanket your entire school in God's love and character and respect, you know, at least it's easier to weed out the people who absolutely just don't want to change. And then you can get working on them with what they need to do to change versus what's going to happen to them if they don't. And so on. But with that being said, because all the social ills that exist at Wolfson or existed, I read the review where it said that the principal doesn't care about healing these social ills the right way. Doesn't really care about healing them at all, really. He just wants to push you to his side and treat you like you don't matter and focus on the people that make the school look good. And what that means is, the review said he focuses on doing this through, as I said, optics, but other work could be appearance and censorship. And I can assure you that's corruption. Keynote, that's just corruption. And that's one of the top things that I want everybody to understand about a lot of our schools, all across the state, all across our country. That's corruption. Now, there's a lot of states that rank way, way, way downhill with education for various reasons. Various reasons. And again, I would love nothing more than to go to those other states and those other counties and do what I can to help out whenever God were to bless me with the opportunities to do so. Because like I said before, I love giving back. I love, doing what I can to help equip people with what they need. And I love I love youth. I love youth first. I put youth first, which is why I made the song titled Youth First. And I just want to put youth first and give youth that God first opportunity to uplift more youth, and let's just win together. Let's build together. But the thing is, that's what separates my tenure at Nice a little bit from dare I say, my post tenure of Nice. Because when I was at Nice, I can say it was a tad bit easier to do that exact thing. It was easier to weed out the fakes and the frauds, the people who just didn't want to change, versus the people who were, everybody's tremendously talented, but it was easier to definitely do that. It was easier because everybody did. Everybody definitely knew me as that guy, and everybody loved and respected me as such. And through my leadership, I do believe that majority of the school, I would say a good 60, if not 80. 60 would be the lowest, 80% would be the highest. The school did feel like a family and did feel like a home, and you did feel like you were part of something God first bigger than yourself. And now my post tenure is there's probably a less than 1% of anybody that takes pride in the school. And if you take any pride in the school, it's probably because you're in something like IB, you're in something like an academy, the arts. I don't know. I'm just guessing, so don't take me word for word about what I'm saying. But I'm saying we definitely, when it comes to, it's definitely more so the standard kids are the kid. Like there's definitely two different things. The standard kids, I think all kids are is God first smart as they God first want to be, and so on and so on. And what that means, I do believe that all standard kids are smart enough to be in IB. It just depends if you want to put yourself through that workload. That's all it depends on. And you got a lot of teachers and a lot of people who, if you're not teaching or if you're not preaching to your kids like I do, and if not, I'm not saying like I do. That's not to say I'm a teacher, like, or I'm a licensed teacher. I'm not a licensed teacher. I don't work in any schools like that. I did not go to college yet. I'm just speaking on my experience as a school student and the leadership that I took, and even the post leadership that I still try to take at times through various vices, even though I'm disturbed, disgusted, and disappointed. You know, at still how lackluster everything is, which makes me wish that I just gave up and I just went about my merry business doing something else. But then if I did that, I don't think I would have be living with much purpose. I think if I did that, I would literally just be like every other person, every other body. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So don't take me word for word, I guess. But it's more so the fact being, if you don't have teachers that know how to teach, know how to preach, if one, I would definitely say one of those two, if not both. But definitely more so, if you don't have teachers that know how to speak to you like a human being rather than a number, then no wonder why your schools stink. No wonder why the numbers don't tell the stories. And that's the top problem that I have been reading from countless school reviews. They're hiring teachers who play biased favorites, who have favorites and or who don't teach. Same thing with coaches. They're hiring the coaches that have biased favoritism. If you're not somebody that's shelling out all this money for your kid to do this and to get to do that, then you're not gonna get away with anything. And you're gonna be treated like probably a second class, is not even less than a second class citizen. You're gonna be treated like a statistic. And that's what I mean about the crime and the corruption exists too many places / everywhere. If not everywhere, majority of places. I can't stand this. Duval. Someone tell me why Duval is failing the way it is. And I mean Duval as in Duval Public Schools. Again, I came from there. So don't look at me like I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. My last school was Kearney Middle School. But someone explain to me why Duval County Public Schools is tremendously failing the way that it is. And why does Duval suspend more African American students than any other county in our state? That's horrifying. And you cannot tell me that at least the way I interpreted it, you cannot tell me it's the same old excuses. Or maybe it is the same old excuses. But that's what I mean about what happens when, as I've also said before, God bless all the kids that, have ever had a problem with me when it comes to me trying to encourage people to enjoy school, because this is why I've done it. This is why I still take that stance to this day. Even though, again, it's vastly, without me in the school during the day, it's deteriorating. And or it just doesn't exist, period. Because if you don't have a good home life, ask yourself this question. What is school supposed to be for you? What is school supposed to be for you? If you don't have a good home life, ask yourself that question. What is school supposed to be for you? And I believe school is supposed to be that second home, that safe haven for you. And that's the problem. If you don't have a good home life, nor a good school life, you're bound to fall into the wrong crowd. You're bound to get in trouble. You're bound to take the wrong path. You're bound for the death and destruction, dare I say, at early ages. You're bound for it. And I want people to understand, it's not enough to just put your children in this and that program and hope they turn out great. Just like it's not enough to leave your child at church every dang Sunday morning for Sunday school and hope they learn something about God. It's not enough. Why do you think you get so many, dare I say, pedophiles roaming churches these days? And or they've been in Roman churches for generations, but you get the point. No wonder why. It's not enough. It's not parents. It's not enough. Parents, aunts, uncles, big brothers, big sisters, it's not enough. And what I mean about it's not enough, I mean it's not enough to just not do your job and keep handing your job off to somebody else to do. And that's one of the top biggest problems that our society has literally failed at every single day with our youth. It really is almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing, but more so about how it's like it's more so in that scenario or situation, how if you don't do your job, stop relying on other people to do it. Because I'm in that same boat. If I don't still do what I do towards supporting and encouraging kids, I know they're not gonna get supported and encouraged. In a certain matter, within certain groups, I know they're not gonna be supported. I know because I've again heard the stories, read the school reviews. Again, places that I never been to have been dramatically affected. because nobody cares. God bless. More coming soon.